Now we want to look at how to set the proper exposure for the scene we're going to use for lighting analysis. Continue from the previous lesson, or open the file Chapter 15 Office Suite Layout 04.max. When the daylight system was created, it automatically applied a mental ray photographic exposure control in the exposure control settings. To access the exposure control settings, from the rendering menu, click Exposure Control. Exposure control provides a way of adjusting the scene exposure, or brightness, without changing the intensity of the lighting in the scene. You can brighten or darken your scene based on an exposure value just like a real camera. This avoids needing to adjust the lights in your scene by making those brighter or darker, which can throw off any lighting analysis you plan to perform. In the mental ray photographic exposure control rollout, there are several presets to select from. For instance, physical based lighting, outdoor daylight, clear sky is one. We're going to select physically based lighting, indoor daylight as a starting point. Another option is to set the exposure manually. This can be done by adjusting the exposure value. Or, if you're photographically inclined, you can switch over to the photographic exposure and use shutter speed, aperture, and film speed to adjust your exposure control. The image control area allows you to adjust the balance between the highlights, midtones, and shadows in the rendered image. There are also options for adjusting the color saturation and white point, or white balance, as well as giving you the ability to simulate the vignetting that occurs in some lenses. In the physical scale area, you can set the physical scale in either known units of candelas per meter squared or in generic units. This value sets the size of the universe in 3ds Max. In this case, we're going to use physical units because we have made everything to real-world accurate scale. The Gamma and Lookup Table Settings area gives you access to these settings, which in this file is set to a display gamma of 2.2. Close the Environment and Effects dialog, save your scene, and continue from here.